What's going on, everybody? It's yours truly, Mufasa Fashaw, coming to you live with another episode. And this lovely, lovely young lady here, Jazz. All right, y'all seen her before on the podcast, and she had some really hard-hitting gems that you guys really loved and appreciated. And I always be begging her to come back on the podcast because she does share a very unique perspective that can really help you in certain parts of your relationship. And like I always say, follow me, Instagram, IG, AlphaCology1K. Now, can they follow you? I know your page is private, and it's cool. It's cool. So she might accept you, she might not. Can they message you sometimes for some advice or?
Of course.
Okay.
So
I don't even want to say advice. I'm gonna say perspective.
Yes, perspective. I'm not an expert on any of this.
I'm an expert.
It's just basically based on my experiences in life. I'm never gonna give you anything that's like that I don't know about personally. So I'm never gonna give you anything that I don't know about personally.
That camera, that's your camera.
So,
okay.
Do you want them to restart this or you want me to talk? What you want me to do?
This is live. This live.
Okay, so
This live.
back to you guys. So, my Instagram is Bren's Mom. So that is BRENSMOM561 because I am from West Palm Beach, Florida,
Shout
as I
out to
told
West
you guys
Palm.
last time.
All right.
Currently living here in Georgia. Close enough to this guy. But yeah, so if you guys do want to message me, feel free to. I'm a pretty open book, so I have no problems with sharing my experiences and, you know, things like that with you guys or any questions that you might have. Just wanted to get to know me a little bit better. So just message me and I'll be sure to hit you up.
So now here on AlphaCology is real experiences with real people based off their experiences, and they're talking from the heart. She talks from the heart real good, and it'll hit you deep. And you know, I've been knowing her since I was 19 years old, 18 years old. So she's a very good person, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. Now she brung it to my attention that the topic at hand, and I always like to talk about this on AlphaCology, believe it or not. Emotional intelligence, right? Now, the topic at hand, me personally, emotional intelligence is something that, you know, you have to work on sometimes daily. It has a lot to do with what we like to call maturity.
Most definitely.
You know, processing your emotions, knowing when to display them, when not to display them. And what was it that you wanted to the people to know about that certain, you know, area, which is hard to tackle. I'm just letting you know it's hard to tackle.
Yes,
like I done
it is.
listened to a lot of podcasts on emotional intelligence, and I'm like, that ain't it. That ain't it. That ain't it. Oh, they not there yet.
Right.
So, but we gonna do our best.
Right. So for me, personally, emotional intelligence was earned through different experiences that I've been through in relationships, whether that be breakups or just, you know, going through, I can't say all my relationships were bad. We all like to talk about all the bad stuff, and sometimes it took some time for me to understand that I was the problem. And and also, even if I wasn't the source of the breakup, I still had to find a reason as to why I was attracting those sorts of people. So with that, I just started doing a lot of reading, a lot of soul searching myself, and realized that there were 5 different cores to emotional intelligence. And one of those things being self-awareness. I've always prided myself in being self-aware of mistakes I make, calling my own bullshit out. And that's just basically taking accountability for my own actions within relationships, whether that be romantic, friendships, things like that. So, like I said before, to answer your question, it was just basically going through my own experiences and things like that, and trying to figure out, like, okay, why am I going through so many breakups? Because I was a serial dater. Not really a relationship person. Commitment, when it comes to me, I take relationships very seriously. But I did have my serial dating. So in that dating, I was able to learn my own boundaries, being able to set those boundaries, and also learning other people's boundaries. So that would be one of those.
So we can narrow this topic down, because I don't want to. I think emotional intelligence
It's like part three,
with friendships, but yeah.
Yeah.
I want to let them know that we're talking about within the relationship.
Right.
I don't want to do the friendship thing yet. I don't think we have enough talking points or enough people on here to do the friendship thing. All right? Because there's been a lot of cats that I thought was my friend, and I'm like, I got to get away from them before I go to jail. Right?
Right.
But emotional intelligence will let you know this person is not good for you. They trigger you.
Most definitely.
So I done been in those relationships where I was like, this person is not good for me. I gotta get away from this person before it turns bad.
Right.
Or violent.
But that can also be another one of those core things, which is empathy.
I don't. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and say this. Yes, I like empathy. I don't think empathy is for every relationship you're in, right? So if empathy is not for every relationship you're in, you have to get away from that person that you're not gonna be empathetic to. Because honestly, like I said, I'm trying to be the most alpha version of myself. I don't want to be with a woman that triggers me. If I feel like I got to throw her through the window to get my point across,
Okay.
I don't need to be with her.
Right.
I don't need to be with that woman.
That is correct.
If I feel like I got to put my hands on you, if I feel like I got to throw you through the window,
Right.
if I feel like I got to cuss you out every day, I don't need to be with you.
That is correct.
Right? That's emotional intelligence to me. When somebody calls me and say, "Man, this girl, man," and when I do my consultations, shout out to some of my supporters who call me for consultations. I let them know, hey, get your space until you could calm down.
Okay.
And women don't know this, but they trigger a lot of men. I don't know if it's, and this is me, I don't know what came first, the chicken or the egg. Are you triggering me, or do I need to grow the hell up? Until I figure that shit out, I'm going to get away from you. What's wrong with that?
No.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with that. And I agree. There are some women that are very good at triggering men. But at the same time, we have to understand where that comes from. So
where does that come from?
That could be from, I recently spoke about this with my mother and recognizing the patterns of trauma within our family that was passed on through the women.
Okay.
We have a tendency as parents to pass on traumas of our own to our own children without realizing it, because we don't always recognize that, one, we're not healed from the traumas that we've been through, and two, we're just not self-aware of the traumas that we've been through. So we carry those into our relationships, and it just keeps going and going and going until somebody stops and says, hey, something ain't right here. There's a pattern here. And the beautiful thing about my journey is that I was able to see the patterns. And I confronted my mother about it. And I said, hey, your mother went through X, Y, and Z. So then you chose this, but now you dealt with this. So, for example, your mother may have been beaten.
Right.
Okay, so you say, you know what, I'm not finna do the beating thing, but cheating is okay. And now I, as
Is
your
that a form
daughter,
of
have watched.
Let me ask you something real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you feel like cheating is a form of abuse in a
Yes,
relationship?
most definitely, I do
That's a
believe
good
that. Now, I will say,
That-
I do believe.
I don't agree with that.
Okay, and we can agree to disagree on that topic. But for me personally, as a person that has been treated on several times, the trauma that I have experienced behind that has carried on with me. And sometimes I have said, because for me, I've dealt with abuse in my life, whether it be not physical, because which camera we looking at? I wish a nigga would. But I've dealt, I've dealt with emotional, I've dealt with mental, I've dealt with financial, I've dealt with sexual, I've dealt with different traumas in myself. And I remember saying to a person, because I had given everything within me, and I remember looking him in his eyes and I asked him, why do you hate me so much? What did I do to make you hate me enough to do what you did? That's trauma, period. Others may not agree that cheating is, and I will admit, I have been on the other end as well.
You cheated before?
Yes, I have.
All right.
I'm okay with admitting that.
Hurt
Because
people.
again,
Hurt people.
it wasn't about hurting him because he doesn't know. He didn't know.
Okay.
So it wasn't.
You got a confession?
Look, like, hey,
on Alpha College?
we're just gonna be real.
Okay.
Is this not about being real with people?
Okay, yeah.
And that's the thing that women cheat for different reasons than men do. I believe that. In my experience, a lot of men, they cheat, whether it's because we're not giving them
Pussy.
what they're.
We're not giving them pussy.
They're not giving.
Now you finna get cheated
We're
on.
not giving.
Cause while I'm in a relationship and I can't get no pussy.
Oh my God,
I'm
sir?
just being honest.
I'm trying to
We gonna
stay
keep it
PG.
real.
Well, I'm trying to stay
This ain't for kids.
R-rated.
This
You
ain't
know what I'm
for
saying?
kids.
Okay, I will promise you that wasn't the issue with me.
This ain't for kids.
Okay, first
that
of
wasn't
all,
the issue. Okay, cool.
that was
But
not the issue with me.
I don't think that's an emotional intelligence reason. I think that's
No,
what
my
I
hat
call.
fell off.
I
Like
think
that
that's what I call common sense. If you're in a relationship with a man and you're not giving him sex, he's gonna go get sex from someone else.
That is true, but not all men.
If you go to your kitchen and there ain't no food in there, you're finna leave your house to go get something else to eat.
Okay, but if I'm not getting the financial security that I need, the emotional security that I need,
my
the reassurance
God.
that I need,
Go.
does that mean that I need to go cheat on you? No. But I get it. Everybody has needs, and it just depends. And you have to understand your partner and their
I feel
needs.
like that's
and if you are
a
not
moving
fulfilling their
field goal.
needs that are
Okay,
the
hold
core
on. Let
for
me
their
stop you right
being.
there. You said the what I call intangibles. You can't see them. Financial security, emotional security, all these fucking securities. Nigga, I need pussy for this relationship to work. What are you gonna do? What is your emotional intelligence telling you to do?
That's not emotionally intelligent. I just
Okay,
want you to know that.
okay, what is that?
Okay.
I'm just being honest.
Because
what
for
are you
one,
gonna do
okay.
if that man is not giving you the emotional security you need, the physical or the whatever, the emotional you need?
I can't speak for
But he
everybody
needs
else.
vagina. But you're not giving it to him, so he goes to get it somewhere else. Because you want something and he wants something.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say this. Emotional intelligence will tell you if my man needs this and I want this, let's communicate what we both need and agree to it.
But what if
He doesn't
one
give.
does not? I'm not finna put it in the man's lap or the woman's lap.
Okay, fine.
What
I'm
if
gonna put it in the man's lap because this is African.
one person? Okay, well we'll put it in the man's lap. Now, what if the man does not live up to his end of the stick.
Well, he's being a beta male.
But
He's
here's
not
the
being a
thing.
man of his word. He's
No,
not
no,
being
no,
an
no,
alpha
no,
male.
No, because I could still lose respect for a alpha man. If I lose respect for you, there's a difference between losing trust and losing respect. If I lose respect for you, that is the hardest thing to get back. I don't give a fuck what anybody say. Once I lose respect for you, you're not touching me. Period. As highly sexual as I am, the moment I lose respect for you, that's it.
When you mean highly
Period.
sexual, what you talking about?
We're not talking about that. It's a different night. That's a different subject. We ain't finna talk about
Turn
that.
the
And that
lights
is
off.
my personal business. That is my personal business.
Okay,
We're
I
not getting
feel you.
into that. I have
Okay.
I'm a woman.
Okay.
I'm healthy. We're just gonna say that.
All right, cool.
I'm healthy.
So,
Because my mama is gonna watch this and my
Okay,
sister,
your
and I'm
mama, your
sorry.
sister.
It's not me, it's him.
they already know you got 3 kids. They know you
Shut up.
sexually healthy. I'm gonna be honest with you. They already knew you. I can fuck you. So look.
We gotta edit it.
So check this out. Keep your composure. You got 3 kids. The cat's out the bag.
All right, anyways.
Everybody who hypersexual gonna
Get
have
back
some
on
kids,
subject, sir.
especially 3. You made the requirement. You like to fuck. You got 3 kids.
Jesus.
Okay, my bad. All right. Shout out to Urban Studios. Urban, you gotta tell me. You gotta throw up a sign or something when I need to stop. But look.
Please edit that out.
So.
Jesus Christ.
Come.
I
ain't gonna say that. So check this out. This how I look at it. You have a point, right? If you're in a relationship and you know your sexual desires and needs, and I don't want to put it, but it comes to a point where women do this. They barter, or they leverage sex with a man. They leverage it. So let's put it in this situation here, right? To bring the emotional intelligence out. What should a man do? Or let's say, what should a woman do if she's like, I need more stability, emotional stability, I need more reassurance or whatever they need emotionally, or I'm not gonna have sex with you. And she continues to, be physically intimate with her man, like as she should, but he doesn't keep up his end of the bargain. What should she do?
Well, first of all.
What should she do?
First of all.
'Cause I'm gonna tell you what a man should do.
You want me to answer the question?
Go ahead.
Well, first of all, the one thing that we don't normally do is give men time. We don't give them the grace that we expect from them to allow them to work through it. They're going to make mistakes along the way because this is something this is a new thing that we're asking of them. That's something that wasn't originally in them. So we cannot expect them to turn around immediately and turn on some type of switch because the same things they're asking of us, we can't turn on a switch. So we have to give grace. And that is one thing that we are lacking within relationships is allowing other people grace. So that's number one. If it is still not happening you can set those boundaries because again, boundaries should definitely be set within relationships. And if he agrees to the boundary, that means that he has held himself accountable for the same timeline that you have set with each other. Not you setting by yourself as the woman, not you setting by yourself as the man, but you together as one unit because this is an issue that you both are dealing with, not one or the other. Okay? So once that boundary is set between each other, if that is not, what's the word I'm looking for?
It's not working?
If it is not, no, that's not the word I'm looking for. But if the agreement is broken,
right?
Y'all come back to the table and you approach it again. Is more grace allowed at that point? Can you tolerate providing more grace? If not, then you need to have a more deeper conversation about, okay, this is where we are now. I can't deal with this anymore. You can't deal with this anymore. I can't give you what it is that you're looking for. And you have, again, that comes with self-awareness. You have to be aware of what you are, what you can tolerate and what you can give to somebody. If that is just not in you, then you need to have that discussion of where do we go from here?
I like it. Okay, I agree with that. I agree with that.
Oh, I thought you was gonna argue.
I'm not gonna argue with that. I'm big. Like, part of being the most alpha version of yourself and being a good leader of a relationship, of a community, whatever you need to be, you have to communicate. Sometimes you have to overly communicate.
Yeah.
You gotta set the boundaries and you gotta set rules. That's a part of emotional intelligence.
Right.
That's when you know you made it. Like, okay, I gotta give her this time. I said, okay, in a couple months, if it's still going a way I don't like, then we have to part ways. We have to
Yeah. You have to come
Step
back,
back.
you have to come back to the table.
you gotta
And
figure out.
that's the thing that we typically forget to do.
You gotta come
We
back
forget
to,
to
the table.
come back to the table. We forget to follow through with the agreements that we both have made, the boundaries that we both have set. We forget to follow through.
Right.
So we just kind of just sit in limbo for however
So
long.
yeah, this is my thing. A big part of emotional intelligence is being respectful, the agreement to respect each other.
Right.
And respect looks different for me. It looks different for you. It looks different for everybody. So we don't know if we're disrespecting or respecting. The only way you really truly know that is if you communicate.
Right.
So that's how I look at it. I always looked at it like that. So if I could communicate with you and have those tough conversations, that's a big that's a big thing for me. Now I could grow in my relationship with you.
Right.
I could grow. I feel comfortable because I know we gonna come to the table
Right.
and like, hey, this ain't working. You're not giving me what I need. And you be like, oh, babe, you're not giving me what I need either. Right? So I don't know where we're missing it at. I don't know if it's a thing where we're raised to get as much as we can out of each other with bare minimum effort. All right? That's my word of the week, bare minimum. I don't know.
That's been my word of the week. I've said that several times this week.
I don't know where that comes from. I don't know if it comes from the fact that like we're raised differently. Are men and women raised differently? Because what I feel, and it's very frustrating for me, and I try to get this through to every woman I ever dated or in a serious relationship, like, who raised you to deal with men? And why don't you give us the patience we need? Right? Or why don't you give us the respect we deserve, but you demand all the respect? You get what I'm saying?
No.
And honestly, that's where we're at nowadays. Like, we always telling boys how to treat women. But it's very hard and it's very rare that I see women telling young girls how to treat boys, how to treat a man. And it's sad. It's frustrating.
Yes.
It's very rare though. I'm being honest. I cannot tell you how many times my coaches and my male teachers set me down and showed me how to be chivalrous. I cannot tell you one time where I went to a all-female meeting with young girls and say, this how you treat a man. This how you treat boys. This how you do. Like, they don't do that. I never seen it. I never seen it in college. I never seen it in middle school. I never seen it in elementary school. But as soon as I jump on social media, it's 1,000 women in a church that are single looking for a man. And I say to myself,
I don't know why
it's 1,000
everybody
women.
think you gotta
It's
go to church
1,000
to find a man.
women
No.
that don't know how to treat a man, that don't know how to communicate, that don't know how to talk, that don't know how to hold emotional intelligence. That's what I say to myself. I do.
Yeah.
Is it a man's responsibility to show his woman how to treat him, or is that is that the woman's upbringing? Is a woman supposed to bring up? Is her upbringing supposed to show how a man is supposed to be treated, or is that man supposed to show her?
Both.
That's the hard. Okay. Why
Both.
you say you can't do that? That's the easy ass question.
No. And I'm gonna explain it
That's
from
an easy way out.
again.
Which one is more important? Because that goes to the
Well,
other. That segue into the other topic that I wanted to talk about.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. We can segue. That's cool. So to answer your question, I say both because me personally, my mother taught me how to treat men. My mother taught me how to be a wife, not a girlfriend, not a whatever, but a wife. My mama taught me how to be a helpmeet. And to this day, shout out to my parents. They just celebrated 37 years previously, a couple days ago. So shout out to them. But I watched my mother my mom is the strongest person I know.
Right.
The strongest person I know. I watched my mother love this man, the patience of an angel. My father is a beautiful man. So my father also taught me how to love men, how to respect men.
That's very
not,
rare.
Not just by his words, but by his actions. You get what I'm saying? So and that goes back to when the saying where they say a mother is supposed to show a son what type of woman he's supposed to love, and a father is supposed to show a daughter what type of man she's supposed to be with. That's true in my sense. Now, I don't know about everybody else, but in my experience, my mama taught me how to cook, clean, cater, love, respect, balance them books, take that check and multiply it by 10.
That's big.
Like,
That's
support
big. That's big in my life.
my man. And I carried that throughout my life. Now, is it always appreciated? No, because I have been with men whose mothers taught them how not to pick a hoe. Well, I'm not a hoe. I'm not in that category. So how she didn't teach him how to be with a good woman. Did not show him how to love and how to lead this type of woman, because she wasn't that woman herself. Now, my mother was a woman that could be led and could lead. And my father was the type of man that would be able to step back and take heed to what my mother said. So I carry that. I have 3 boys. I don't have any daughters, unfortunately. I didn't want to try, but didn't work out for me. I have 3 sons, and right now I have a almost 16-year-old. And the one thing that I always said as I grew up is that I was not going to, and backspace a little bit. I've watched friends and other women that wouldn't don't cry. I don't want to hear that, and da-da-da-da. And then they grow up into men that can't be vulnerable with women. I allow my sons to be vulnerable with me. I have a 16-year-old son that I have deep conversations with. We are finally on the topic of sex. Has he done it yet? I believe him when he says no. But I explained to him that it's not just because I'm trying to protect you from babies or STDs, understanding that those are soul ties. I go a little bit deeper into that.
Mm-hmm.
The emotional, we all know what happened when our first time. We kind of went a little crazy. Me personally, I was like, I don't want to do this no more. But, but we have our little time period, but emotions get a little bit deeper after sex, and those are the conversations I have with my son. He has a beautiful young lady that he's dating. Not to tell my baby business, but beautiful young lady. And I teach him, like, you need to be able to express how you feel within a relationship. You need to be able to understand that you're not the only one that's dating her. She needs to date you too. She needs to plan dates for you. She needs to buy you gifts as well, because men appreciate appreciation just as much as a woman does.
So
I teach him.
Let me tell you this. Now, from your perspective in your life, I have to go and say this: are we raising our sons to be providers? Are we training our daughters to respect and love correctly? I think, honestly, you raising your son, and mothers do this, because my mom did this. I think she did a great job at this. Make sure a woman is treating you the right way.
Yeah.
Right? So what you're saying right now is what we need.
Right.
Right? That's a part of it. You need to be a provider, but at the same time, you need to make sure that woman treating you the right way.
Yes.
Right? My mom did that. So anytime I feel like I'm getting the bare minimum from a woman, all hell break loose. Because I know what I was raised up on.
Right.
And I know how much I could be. Like you said, are we raising our sons to be providers? Like I had my man, Coach 10, come on here. And, he's raising leaders. And part of raising a leader is a provider. Right?
Exactly.
So at that point, I'm going to always say this. It got to go both ways.
Yeah.
And it sucks because sometimes we don't communicate with the opposite sex family as much as we need to for our children. Like, okay, you need to ask these certain questions about how her mom raised her. That's the biggest thing I ever did. Like, when a man is dating with intention and with purpose, he's going to ask, how did your mom raise you? And he's going to find out if your mom raised you like that.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? For a woman.
I think we make the mistake. I'm not going to say that we do, or intentionally or not, but I think that we make the mistake of raising our children out of our own traumas. We're trying to protect our children from what we
say that again.
We are raising our own children out of our own traumas, and it's not a matter of guiding them. In a sense, we are projecting our own emotions on our children, instead of, I know that we don't want to, me personally, I would hate to see my son hurt, but I have to allow him to also go through those things because he has to learn for himself as well. So I don't shield him completely from what he goes through. I guide him, and I have those conversations with him. Okay, what happened? What are you feeling? What did you do? And I hold him accountable for what he does. And that, I feel, is lacking a lot, is holding our children accountable and teaching them about accountability, holding their friends accountable, holding themselves accountable, and even sometimes it's us respectfully holding us accountable as parents. I allow my children to do that. Well, not the other ones, they too little, but
Yeah,
in future. But my own son, I hold him accountable. I'll never forget, I told a joke about his girlfriend, and my son checked me. And I felt absolutely no way about it. And I said, you know what, you're right. Because one day, I don't know if this is going to last, because we know high school relationships last and it goes into marriage and carries on. But I teach my son, don't you ever let me disrespect the person that you're with.
Okay.
I am not your wife. I am not exempt from that. If you check your friends, you need to check me too. I'm totally okay. And he does it respectfully, of course, you know, because you feel me. But, you know, I will never be that woman that will, if my son gets, you know, a wife or whatever, I will never step in that outside of my lane, ever. That is your household. I have given you the tools. I can give you guidance. But I am no longer your leader. That's between you and the person that you're dealing with.
Are we?
And again, I feel like we are lacking. I'm not, me personally, I'm not raising just providers. I am also raising leaders.
Okay. Okay, I like that. You raising not just providers. You raising a leader.
Mm-hmm.
That encompasses everything.
Yeah.
So I understand that. And I do appreciate you for providing your perspective, especially on the emotional intelligence. I like that. And the last little bit about, you know, how you raise your son, how you know, set those boundaries, how you get him to realize when somebody actually loves and cares about him. That's the hardest part about raising kids.
Yeah.
That's a very big part because we know they're going to be, especially, you know, when your child is attractive, they're going to attract people, right?
I only make cute kids.
Right. So you got cute kids and you trying to figure out, all right, man, look, I know you're going to like girls, or I know you're going to, you know, with the girls, I know you're going to like boys. Don't let them treat you like this. And I say a big thing about that is, and I'm going to always say this, a big thing about what you teach your kids is about what they see.
Right. Most definitely.
So if a man is treating you with respect, your son knows he got to get a woman he got to treat with respect. Mm-hmm. Vice versa. Okay, that man you with, he treating you with respect, then he know for a fact that he got to get a woman that he can respect. So that was a big thing in my household. So if I felt like I could not respect you for whatever reason, I knew my emotional intelligence kicked in, and I knew I got to get out of this relationship.
Yeah, most definitely. If you can't respect the person that you're with, there's no point in being together. Just like if you don't trust the person that you're with, like trust can be gained. I mean, over time. But do you have the patience to deal with that? You got to be honest with yourself. But if you can't respect the person that you're with, I personally don't feel that there's any point. Like, one thing I'm just going to say with my child was he thanked me recently for never bringing a lot of people into his space. Damn. My son only knows me to be with two men. His father, my husband.
Yeah. You know what? That's good.
I don't allow anybody to meet my children, and it's not just about you know, protection or you know, physically or anything like that. It's protection of his mental and his own emotions. I'm not going to allow my son to get attached to somebody that I'm not attached to myself. I don't want, my children will never meet anybody unless it is a serious situation. And he recently thanked me for that. And I think that a lot of women allow their emotions to get into the way, mothers and fathers. Allow their emotions to get into the way, and they bring people into their lives, and you don't even know if that person is suitable to even be a parent to your child. But you're bringing those children into your lives, and they want you, but they don't necessarily want your kids. Hold on. Responsible for that.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that's another podcast for
another day. Are we going to bring that?
That's another podcast for another day. Now, like I always say, this is Alphacology. Hit me up, Alphacology 1K. Miss Jazz right here. Well, Jazz. You know what I'm saying? So we'll definitely rekindle what you just said a little on a later date, because I feel like that's a deeper subject.
Yeah.
But we're gonna go ahead and end this podcast right now. Like I always say, this is not tea. This is protein. Peace out.